Hey, everybody. It's Kira and Amelia from Journey to Christmasland, and it's the Christmas holidays. So we're taking a break the same way that you guys, we hope, are taking a break to celebrate with your families. And we hope you're having lots of great hot chocolate, non-alcoholic eggnog, and hugs under the mistletoe. It's probably not, we don't allow a lot of kissing under the mistletoe in Christmasland. But instead of creating new content for you, we decided what we would do is go back to our old podcast, A Very Merry Podcast, and take one of those episodes and replay them for you to kind of give you some fresh content for the Christmas season and remind everybody of some of the episodes that we talk about during our podcast. So, Amelia, tell everybody what they're going to be listening to today.
All right, today we are going back to our first episode from the 2022 season, and it's actually a movie that we didn't really like. It was called The Ghost of Christmas Always. The reason that we are choosing this one is where we came up with Robert Barron. This is where we found Robert Barron.
This is the inspiration.
Yeah. This is where he came from. Robert Barron is actually a character in this movie, and he's the Scrooge of the movie, but he's actually kind of the hero, in our opinion. So we thought that everybody might want to hear this episode, find out what we're talking about when we talk about Robert Barron and why we named an award after him. So buckle up, see what we think. Sometimes like with the last one with Hot Sassafras, we recommended you go watch the movie first and then listen. This one, you certainly can if you want to. Maybe you can skip it. If you're one of those people who just likes to listen to the episodes and maybe not watch every movie, you might not need to watch this one.
Yeah.
It wasn't great. But you can find out who Robert Barron is, get our take on the movie, and now you will understand the reference when we give out our awards.
Yes, absolutely. Go watch this. And I just want to say before we say goodbye to people and let them go enjoy this podcast, if there's anyone out there who would like to design an award for us, I would love, watch this movie and then see what a Robert A. Barron award would look like to you. I would love to someday have physical awards to hand out, but I'm not very creative. So if you want to design something for us, design something. We would love to highlight that and shout you out on our podcast as well. All right. Well, Amelia, let's go back to the Christmas past and find out a little bit of this Christmasland lore with what did we call this one again?
Father Knows Best.
Father Knows Best. It was a long time ago, everybody. But we hope you enjoy, and we hope you're having a great Christmas holiday. We'll catch you on the flip side.
Merry Christmas.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to A Very Merry Podcast. Merry Christmas. I'm your host, Kira Davis, and I am here with my lovely, very merry co-host, Amelia Hamilton. Amelia, how are you doing today?
Hi, I am doing well. I think we should start, though, by just kind of recognizing that I've injured my ankle. And as we learned from Pumpkin Pie Wars, I should be resting in bed for the next 6 weeks. But here I am podcasting with you because of my love of you and Hallmark and the listeners. I'm getting through the sprained ankle.
Are you? Are you? I'm so glad, because I was thinking that maybe what I might have to do is find a replacement podcast host for a little while.
Yeah.
Preferably the handsome son of a rival podcaster.
Right.
And I thought that maybe he might have to come in to save the podcast.
I understand.
And we might be entering a podcast competition that we have to get ready for. So I was all ready to go, Amelia. I'm telling you, I was ready to pick up the slack here, but you are a brave woman.
Yeah, I talked to my doctor, and it turns out you do not have to stay in bed for 6 weeks.
No?
No.
Did you tell him that's not what Hallmark says?
I didn't want him to feel bad about his,
lack of knowledge. Yeah. Okay, sure. I don't have to stay in bed for 6 weeks. All right. Well, fair enough. No, we're glad you're on the mend, and we're glad you're here, because we are now about to review our first Hallmark movie of the season. Last week we did an overview of what might be to come, and Amelia had picked this as our first film, and we were really looking forward to it. And I gotta say off the top, Amelia, I was not impressed. This was a disappointing way to start the Hallmark season.
It was, and I'm telling myself it can only go up from here.
Yes.
That's my silver lining. Yeah.
Well, tell us a little bit about this. You set it up for us.
I did. It was called The Ghost of Christmas Always. And so my thought was, it was out last weekend, like the day before Halloween, 2 days before Halloween. And I was like, well, this is cute because they're not really doing Halloween movies anymore. They're going straight to Christmas. So they're kind of doing something, spooky. This will be kind of fun.
Mm-hmm. No, it wasn't fun at all.
No, it was not. It was painful. And you and I, we love all the Hallmark movies.
Yes.
We know that they're not, the kind of thing that's going to win an Oscar.
Right.
They're enjoyable and fun. And this one, I was like checking the timestamp. It was,
yeah, it was.
And I liked the cast. I was excited. I don't feel like Kim Matula. I don't know where I know her from, but I know her. I thought she's beautiful. I thought she did a good job. She's a definite Hallmark vibes.
Yeah.
The male lead who played Peter, Ian Harding. I know him from, what is the one? Oh, Pretty Little Liars. There we go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And he is like Hallmark hot, perfect. I want to see him in everything.
I found him to be annoying.
Oh, really?
To be honest, I did. I think he's very handsome. I think I agree with your assessment.
Character was annoying.
Yeah, I think some of his choices were annoying too. I did find that he did this thing where that just started to grind on me towards the end, where it's this sort of like, hey, I'm acting here. Is this, are we doing this? Are we going to do this thing? Is this the thing that we're going to do? Okay. Yeah. This is the thing like that. It was a whole, like, he could never get a line out just like completely all the way. He always had to do this halting, like, hey, I'm stopping to think. And I just didn't really appreciate it. It started to get on my nerves after a while. It was like, it's funny for a little bit, but
yeah,
you could tell the directors didn't really have him even out his performance during the whole filming. But that being said, I thought I agree with your assessment. He's Hallmark handsome, great lead, and I enjoyed him. I just thought the shtick was a little bit much, but it might have been, I might not have even noticed if the movie was enjoyable. And this is so rare for us, Amelia. Like we rarely get on this podcast and say we didn't like a movie.
It's true. I just want to also really quickly mention the bright spot in the cast was Reginald Val-Johnson.
Was he Roy?
He was Roy.
Yes.
And he was the policeman in Die Hard. And I thought that naming the character of Roy was maybe a little nod to Die Hard. And I appreciated that. And I don't know if it's true, but I'm telling myself it is because it was a thing that I liked.
Was that? Yeah. Was that was the same actor?
Yeah. He played Al, the policeman in Die Hard.
I didn't recognize him.
And he's from Family Matters. He's Carl from
Family Matters. Yes, of course. Yeah. I didn't recognize him because shockingly he's aged. How dare he? But I did recognize his ascots. I loved the ascots. I think we'll talk about that. Well, let's just get into it so people know what was going on. Set the movie up for us, Amelia.
All right. The Ghost of Christmas Always. Basically, the plot is that there are Christmas ghosts, as you know, like in the Scrooge kind of stories, past, present, future. Our leading lady is the ghost of Christmas Present, and it opens on this woman being like, "Are you kidding me right now?" in this, like, I don't know, voice, threatening to call the police because the angels are in her apartment, and they explain that they just need to help her get some Christmas spirit. They do this overnight, and in the morning she wakes up with Christmas spirit, but she's not going to remember the ghost. Like maybe she'll sort of remember a dream, whatever.
And I'll just say they jump right into the plot. So there's no setup. That is the setup.
No, none.
It literally started right there.
It starts with her to camera saying,
yeah. I actually had to rewind to see if I missed the first part. And then at first I'm like, oh, okay, cool. We're getting right into it. They're not wasting any time with setup. Cool. Like I like that if it works well. So yeah, but it was jarring.
Yes. And in that opening scene, I said to myself, uh-oh. And then here's another thing I didn't love about it. They kept calling it Scrooging people. Like she's going to get Scrooged. I'm going to screw him. I'm going to Scrooge her. No, I just did it. I said screw, not Scrooge. And I just think for Hallmark, that's getting a little crude.
It depends on where your mind's at, Amelia. Their minds
I thought like saying it once or twice might be kind of funny, like wink, wink. But they like really leaned in. It was like, okay, we get it. It sounds like screw. I get it. So, but what was funny was after that initial scene, so then it goes to like the next morning, she's got her Christmas spirit, she's fine. And they have to go back to, Angel headquarters, whatever. And that's when they kind of do the setup.
Mm-hmm.
So our main character, Catherine, who is also the ghost of Christmas Present, this woman that they had to Scrooge was in Hartford, and that's where she grew up. So she goes by this,
old diner,
juke joint where she used to hang out. There you go, diner. And on the way there, she sees our hot guy, Peter, in the parking lot handing out food to the homeless. And he goes in and he sees her in the building, and she's like shocked that, that he can see her because only the person they are Scrooging is supposed to be able to see them.
Right. And it's important to point out that this diner is closed. It's been closed for many decades. And so she wanted to pop in because she's been dead for many decades. She's like from the 50s, I guess, maybe.
Yeah.
And so she goes in, and we know it's old, Amelia, because there's cobwebs.
There are cobwebs everywhere.
Yes, everywhere. But the floors are totally clean.
Totally clean. And even though when he comes in, he explains that his family, he said, my family owns the whole block. And, fair enough. He does admit that was a really weird thing to say, and it sounded terrible, but they're using the building for storage. So, I mean, people go in there.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm not saying that I expect people's storage areas to be, I don't know. It was pretty funny.
It was really cobwebby.
Clean building with very obvious cobwebs.
Maybe they store cobwebs there. Maybe that's what they're storing. I think the best way
to store them is just to hang them up, probably.
Yeah, maybe that's how we know that it's really old. And so she's in there, right? And shocked that he can see her because no one's supposed to see her. She's just taking a little trip down memory lane before she goes back to Angel headquarters.
Mm-hmm. So he is wanting to talk to her, and she's like, I've got to get out of here because nobody's supposed to see me. So she just kind of sneaks out when he looks away. Go back at Angel headquarters. They are talking about, and so I had a hard time with the timeline here too. I thought it was the next day, but apparently it was the next year.
Yeah.
I realized this.
Yeah, they pushed us a year forward.
Yeah. So now we're into this Christmas. Apparently that was a year ago. I didn't know. And they're talking about how there's this doorway at the Angel place called the Great Unknown. And she's like, well, how do you know if you're ready to walk into it? And Roy, being wise, tells her that you have to know where you want to go. And until you know where you want to go, you can't walk through the door to the Great Unknown.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, but how do you know when you know? Well, you just know, that kind of thing.
Good place vibes. Had good place vibes.
Mm-hmm,
yeah.
Mm-hmm. So they get their assignment for this year, and they have to do their ghost thing for Peter, which I think we all probably saw coming.
Yeah.
And the ghosts are not allowed to talk to each other. They're allowed to do their little research on the person, but one person knows about the past, one ghost knows about the future, one ghost knows about the present, and they're not allowed to share their info. So something has past and future kind of nervous, but we don't know what, because they're not telling present. And we really she's our narrator for this story, so we don't know what their deal is.
Past and future ghosts are looking at their portfolios going, oh, something's odd here. But Miss Present is like, oh, okay, let's just go do. Yeah, she doesn't know, but they have a job to do. And they've got to obviously unscrooge this Peter guy who seems fine.
Which is part of their concern. They're like, he's not an anti-Christmas monster.
Right. Why are we scrooging him?
The head angel lady's like, just get out there and do your job. So, and at the same time as they're getting their assignment, Peter is talking to his dad. He's about to inherit the family grocery business.
Mm-hmm.
And his dad says something like, we're going to sign it on Friday, but Friday's Christmas. But we work on Christmas.
Yeah, I wrote that in my notes. I was like, oh, of course, Peter's working on Christmas.
Right. But at least in this one, somebody did mention hey, that's not normal to have a deadline on Christmas. Right. And usually there's a Christmas deadline. Usually the deadline's Christmas Eve, and everybody's like, oh, okay, that's a normal time to turn in a giant proposal or whatever. Yeah.
Something that's going to save the company. And I will say, though, having watched the whole movie, that's about the only trope that they give us in the film. There wasn't, there was a couple, but so I guess that was
didn't give us much. We'll have to take it.
Yeah, we'll have to take it. So he's working on Christmas Eve.
He's working on Christmas. Yeah. So when the ghosts get to him, he recognizes immediately what's going on because he's seen every Christmas Carol type movie, and
including go ahead.
He says Scrooge is the best one, and I agree.
The one with Bill Murray. Yes,
But then
that's what
he's
he's
like, but I've also seen the Carrie Fisher one.
Yeah, what's the Carrie Fisher one?
No idea.
Did you look it up?
No.
Let me look it up right now.
Okay, you look
Carrie
it up while I. So
Fisher
so he's
Christmas movie. Go
so
ahead.
he's totally confused because he's always been a good kid. He can't figure out why he is being ghosted. All right, did you find it?
Oh, it was a Hallmark movie.
No way.
That's cute. All right, that was a cute.
Easter
It's called
egg.
It's Christmas Carol. It was a
Oh,
2012 Hallmark movie.
I vaguely remember that.
We might have to do that
We might
as a
have to.
throwback. Yeah.
And we should also say that the Christopher Palaha Christmas one last year, where he played Scrooge in the play,
Mm-hmm.
the
Oh,
town
yes.
play, that one was great.
That one was great. They
I
should
think
have
that was a Dickens
referenced
of a
that
Christmas.
one. A Dickens of a Christmas. Respect the Palaha. It was actually, yeah, that was a stellar
Yeah.
movie. This
So
one
good.
pales in comparison, but we
So good.
at least agree with Peter that the Bill Murray one is the best.
Yes.
Mhm.
So Christmas Past is like, well, I'm not really sure what we're even doing here, but let's go to your past and see if we can figure this out. And they agree to take the present ghost, Catherine, with them, which was surprising because there's not supposed to be any crossover.
Yeah, but she had to get there somehow because because something's going on.
Yeah.
Her and Peter.
We don't know what, but something.
Kind of spark, yeah.
So they have to like hold hands to go back to the past, and it's like this awkward thing while the magic is happening. So he is back at this like community center type thing, food kitchen when he's a kid. And oh no, first I think it's just his like house on Christmas.
Yeah, he's at home on Christmas Day opening
and
presents.
They're laying it on thick that even though he's getting great presents and he's a rich kid, he is so grateful and he's thinking about everybody else. And later when they go to like the soup kitchen type place, he's giving away his Legos. He's thinking about all the other kids and what they need. So we have to know that this kid is not a brat, and that's not a Christmas spirit problem.
But we do know that his dad is a horrible person. We do find that out. His dad's only worried about money. His dad actually questions when he gives his Legos away to who I can only assume is a poor kid at the community center. Well, I just bought you those Legos. So clearly his father is a terrible, horrible person. We got to see that too. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And he gave away his Legos, but earlier that morning, if it was the same Christmas as when he was opening his presents in the other scene, he gave away his new bike also. And his dad is like, maybe don't give away everything I buy you.
Yeah, they made the dad seem really crazy, but also this kid was just giving away these Christmas gifts, like without, and I don't know if you're about to mention this, but we do meet the grandpa, and the grandpa's lovely. Yeah. We meet the grandpa in that same scene, and he's very generous and open-hearted, and he wants to give everything away to people. And then, but Peter's dad is the horrible one. And of course, we find out that since that time, Peter's parents have divorced.
Yes.
Which I say, I think Amelia is Peter's fault.
Well, Peter questions it.
Yeah, he should. I think he is the reason.
Obviously his fault. Yeah. So we get a couple things. One was his dad takes a business meeting on Christmas, which fair, not great. But yeah, then he talks about like, oh yeah, this was the last year we were all together because by the next year his grandpa was dead. His parents were divorced. And then the next year, or however, the next scene that we see in his past, his mom is remarried and they have a new baby, and now he doesn't feel like he fits in and whatever. I was like, really, that I have to say, like, that one got me in the heart because I'm a divorced kid, right? And I was like, oh, the new family. It was almost too sad for Hallmark. I did have in my notes here, though, we met Grandpa Bob in that flashback scene when he was a kid. Grandpa Bob started the grocery store, and he just wants to give everybody everything. He just wants to give away things. And the dad was so horrible, like just horrible, nothing redeeming about him at all, except his son. And I had in my notes, like, how did dad get to be such a jerk? Right.
When grandpa was like such a Santa Claus. And I think my working theory is that it was the hair dye. The dye job on the dad was brutal.
It could have been the hair dye.
Yeah.
It's something to think about. We should look into the ingredients.
Yeah.
But the important thing really from his past, well, one thing was that he keeps going to the Christmas carousel, even though his parents are divorced and they've like moved on from him. And he's the girl that he likes there, Rachel. And she marries this other guy that we see on the carousel. So he's like, well, no Rachel, but I used to go to the carousel by myself and I liked her. So then we see that when he was a teenager, his dad asks him if he'll take over the family business someday. And he says yes, but Peter, present day Peter, is like, say no. And they're like, maybe this is it. Maybe
maybe this
go
is
back
the
in
thing.
time.
Yeah.
Maybe we had to go back and to show him all this to get him to say no. So we're not really sure what's going on here.
Yeah, but his dad, in the meantime, he asked him, do you want to take over the family business? And what was Peter's response? It was something like, oh, sure, I guess that's good for a commodification of basic human needs.
Human need.
And Amelia was so put out by that. She was like, we're both unabashed capitalists, so we were all, I have in my notes at that moment, Peter is a little damn hippie, no wonder his dad hates him. He's like the commodification of basic human needs. Well, everyone needs groceries, Peter. They're not free.
Yeah.
But this is the beginning of
the farmers have to grow them and all this. I mean, everyone, sorry.
This is the beginning of Peter having of us discovering Peter has absolutely no notion of how things get
produced. No one ever taught Peter math
or distributed.
No.
It's like, no wonder his dad can't stand him. His dad should not be giving him this business. Peter knows nothing.
No, because all the employees are going to soon be like needing the free sandwiches that Peter hangs out, because nobody's going to have a job anymore if Peter takes over. So the other thing that I very much neglected to mention was when they're in the flashback scene of the soup kitchen, there's a picture of Catherine, our angel, on the table. So the ghost of Christmas past yanks them back to present day before either of them see the picture there.
So we know there's some kind of mystery.
We don't know what's up. And at that point, I wrote in my notes, is he hot for his grandma?
Dude, I have this in my notes. Okay, I have this in my notes. It's at this point that I'm starting to think that this woman is his grandmother, because earlier on, there is a line where Peter says, my grandparents met at this center / diner, in this area.
Yeah.
And so he was like, this is where my grandparents met. So, and she's so nice. And he did even tell her in the beginning when he first, quote, sees her, and he's not supposed to see her. He says, you look familiar to me. And so I thought, I was thinking, oh, okay, this is his grandmother that he's met, and maybe he's got to do something where he's got to make sure that she meets his grandfather or something. I don't know, but I was starting to be like, what's going on here? This feels a little weird. They're setting them up as romantic interests, but every flag in the scene is pointing to her being the grandma. I'm so glad you noticed that. I was like, this is some Back to the Future stuff.
Yeah, exactly. This is getting weird.
Yeah.
This is getting weird. All right. So now they're going to do the Ghost of Christmas Present. And they decided that Christmas Present is the entire week of Christmas. So it's not, so normally in these kind of stories, we get what different people are doing on Christmas Eve at this, at this time in the actual present. But this, we're going back a couple days, forward a couple days, we get a whole week. So the first thing that I thought was hilarious was he was like, well, I'm going to change my clothes, because if we're going to do another ghost, I want to change my clothes, which I didn't really understand, but whatever. So they go back to where he's doing a press conference with his dad a few days ago, announcing that on Christmas Day, he's going to take over the company. He is more dressed up to go out with ghosts in the middle of the night than he was to do this press conference with his dad.
Yeah, because he doesn't care. I would like to say at this point that the name of the grocery store chain is Food Stuff.
Food Stuff.
Very cleverly named Food Stuff. So he's going to take over the Food Stuff empire on Christmas.
Exactly. So they go back to the little parking lot where he feeds the homeless, and there's nobody there feeding the homeless. And he's like, well, I'm too busy now. My dad was mad at me about all my dad thinks about is lawsuits and food safety.
I lost my mind when I heard that line. There's so much in that line. First of all, this is actually a really deep commentary on the problem of overregulation in government. Yes.
And he made a comment about that before. He's like, my dad hates it when I give stuff out because it's illegal. Yeah. There is a problem where it's hard
to feed the homeless because the government wants to have all their hands in food safety and health inspections. And so this actually is a thing that does happen where charities get shut down just for giving away free meals because they're not going through all the complicated process.
They forgot to check a box and all the red tape. Yeah.
So that was one thing. But then the other thing, I was thinking again, I was on the dad side. I was like,
was too.
okay, well, like in the film, in the movie, he's got the foodstuff truck. He's got all the groceries in bags and he's passing out bags of grocery. And I'm like, I get it that you want to do charity, but is there a way you can do this to where you can write this off? Or because right now you're giving away product. Like, yes, of course your dad is upset. You haven't cleared any of this and you're literally giving away the stuff in the stores that pays for your employees to go home for Christmas to their family.
And he's doing it out of the foodstuff truck. And the dad is like, that's a lot of liability for us.
Yeah.
Like if somebody were to get sick from your illegal food ring, it's gonna come back on the company.
I'm totally on the dad's side here. The guy, there are ways to do this, right? And there are other companies that actually do this. He could have just like given them some foodstuff money or, yeah, he just literally Peter literally just stole the truck and stole the groceries.
Right.
He's the villain here.
So then we hear the backstory that the grandpa started foodstuffs and then he lost money because he gave everything away. And then he bought that block to turn it into like a community center, and he wanted like a daycare and a soup kitchen and all this stuff that is wonderful. But he lost all of his money because he was giving everything away. So then he didn't have anything to fund all this stuff. And now even the community center that was there is gone. And,
right.
and then
exactly.
So then, oh, and that was another thing. He's like, it wasn't built to code. There were fires. And I'm like, what?
I'm sorry. The grandpa and the son, Peter, are the real villains here. And I think that Robert Sr.,
the people rotten food, then lock them in a building with no exit.
The dad is the real hero of this. Like, and at some point later on down the road, the dad says, when I was growing up, everything was uncertain because my dad gave everything away and there was nothing left for us.
Right.
So I want it better for, and I'm like, yes. Your dad was grossly irresponsible. Who are you helping
grandpa. Not his dad. Yeah.
The dad's dad. Yeah. The grandpa.
Yeah. Oh, grandpa,
right. Yeah. Grandpa was grossly irresponsible. You cannot have a community center or any kind of charitable organization where you give away more than you bring in. It doesn't work that way. You have to have some way to fund this. I guess grandpa just thought like his money was limited. Did he not go get donors, investors, partners, file for grants?
And you can't just not have your building up to code.
No.
And like not have your food safety.
It's grandpa's fault. They act like it was like capitalism's fault that the community center closed. No, it's Grandpa Bob's fault because he was nice, sure, but he totally sold that community center up the river. He made no preparations for its sustainability.
Exactly. And then the dad, like you said, he was like, it was always uncertain growing up. He wanted better for his kids and he wanted better for his employees. He wanted to make sure that they had a job. He wanted to make sure the community was not in a food desert and they could keep going to food stuff.
Yeah. Again, real hero.
Yes. We're on Dad Richard. His name's Richard, by the way. We're on Daddy Richard's team. All right. So
I think his name was Robert.
Was it?
Yeah. Cause it was Robert, Peter. Cause they were like,
oh, right. Yeah.
Into this, but
yeah, I remember. So then, okay. So then he wants to know more about Catherine. Peter does. And she's like, and he asks her, how did you die? And she's like, oh, you're so basic. Everybody asks me that, blah, blah. And he's like, okay, fine. So where did you grow up? And she's like, I grew up across the street, with my grandma. I love Hartford, blah, blah. He kind of asks her out again. I'm like, that's your grandson.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm like, what's going on here?
Brushes it off. So they go over to his mom's house, see what she's doing. And she's having kind of a family dinner with the stepdad and half sister. And he's like, oh, I just complicate things. Things are simple with my dad, but I can
that
only
one
with him.
That got me right.
He's like, my dad says, if you want to do good, you have to make money and then write checks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can write checks to foodstuffs, like a personal check to foodstuffs and get the food and help people. But you actually do. Yeah. You have to write a check to the contractor who's going to get your building up to fire code.
Yeah. That's how it works. I'm running for school board, as you know, here, Amelia. And so one of the things I have to do is fundraise. And in order to fundraise, people have to write you checks. Like that's how that works. People have to give you money. But if people don't have money, they can't give you the money to do the work, the charitable work, if you want to call elections that need to be done. Like you're not asking, like I used to run an after school program back in Indiana. I never went to the homeless people to ask for money to keep the program running. I went to people who were wealthy and could spare the money to keep the program running. So yeah, it really is as simple as you need to make money so you can write a check to fund these things. Again, I would like to point out the dad is the hero and Peter is the villain, and it's no wonder that the dad was so angry. He was surrounded by idiots.
Yes. All right, so so it turns out he starts asking more questions, and she does not remember how she died. She was just suddenly in angel land, which they don't really like say is heaven, but it's just wherever the angels go. But then they suddenly I think they call it getting snapped back, where you just like get yanked back into, the present. And she's like, oh, I guess he learned his lesson. Oh no, so the other two angels, past and future, are like, okay, he learned his lesson, we can go now. And she's like, well, maybe we can keep working with him, because she kind of likes him. And they're like, no, he's fine, bye.
And this is the point where I have in my notes right here, I say, this is the point in the film where I'm really uncomfortable thinking that this lady might be his grandma. That was when I was like, I don't understand. That was really when I decided I don't understand where this movie is going. I feel a little weird. I'm assuming that this lady is his grandmother, but they've got this love story. What is going on? It was very uncomfortable.
I know. And so the past and future angels are like, oh, okay, we decided that he was done, but if you want to keep working with him, then that's fine. So she takes him back to the carousel on Christmas Eve, because that's like his routine. And he is just a grown man by himself, standing there alone by himself, as I said, leaning on the fence, watching all the children. And I was like,
creepy.
This is creepy to me.
It's not creepy. Then he gets on the carousel by himself.
But first he runs into Rachel, who was the girl that he liked all those years ago. And she and her husband are separated now. So I was like, oh, okay, maybe I was totally wrong that there was a romance vibe.
Yeah.
And they were like enjoying each other's company as a grandma and grandson, and he's going to be with Rachel.
Yeah. Like maybe this is a thing about destiny and, and second chances. And I'm like, okay, this is the direction it's going in. But unfortunately, no, Rachel.
This movie is going to take about 7 more turns.
And not fun ones. It was not fun ones. Yeah.
No. So this was one of the scenes that made me super uncomfortable. He wakes up in the morning and he's like, and I understand. Okay, so they've talked him into the fact that he needs to call his dad and be like, listen, taking over the business is not for me. Okay, fine. I get it. Go get a job at a nonprofit. So he wakes up and he's like, I better do this right now before I lose my nerve. He called and he leaves his dad this voicemail that's like, I don't want to take over your company and I never want to be anything like you. And it's just like this nasty voicemail. And then he's like, by the way, Merry Christmas.
Yeah, I did giggle at that actually. But then I thought that was funny, because I was like, this is a horrible message on Christmas. And he's like,
it was horrible.
But then what I have in my notes here, I'm like, because he tells his dad, you know what? I would rather be broke and good than rich and a terrible person. And as he says that, he's sitting in his Manhattan penthouse apartment, the skyline view of New York City behind him. I'm like, you little friggin' brat. He's sitting there.
He's actually proving that you can be both, because he's doing all kinds of good work.
But it's with his dad's money. It's not his money. He hasn't earned it. Who do you think pays for that apartment? Food stuff pays for it.
Right. Well, so it's his dad that's proving that you can be good and be rich, because he's rich and he's the one funding all of Peter's philanthropic endeavors.
Again, dad is a hero.
Until he found out they were all illegal. So, all right. So back at Angel headquarters, we're about to get our first big twist. The head angel lady is like, oh my gosh, you guys scrooged the wrong guy. And Arlene, who is the ghost of Christmas past, she goes, I'm going to smash your head into a table.
Yeah, she was spicy. She was spicy. Past was spicy.
You can't threaten to smash someone's head into a table.
I know there were a few things about this that I was like, maybe I need to look into the writer, because I was like, when I was watching this movie, I was thinking, I don't know if this person watches Hallmark.
Yeah. So they were like, so there was some mix up of Peter and his dad have the same name, but Peter goes by his middle name. So they're like, now, what did we decide his name was? Robert?
Robert.
So they were like, you guys need to go back and Scrooge Robert. And they're like, well, so that's our assignment for next year because you only get one a year. And they're like, no, we've got 9 hours. You got to go get this done in 9 hours. Also, you used up all of your magic whatever to be seen on Peter. So Robert won't be able to see you or hear you or anything. Good luck. And if you don't, then the universe will collapse and there will never be Christmas again.
And that starts part 2 of the film. And this was when I stopped to see how much time was left, because I was thinking that I was towards the end of the film and I was very excited about that. The most excited I had been watching, because it wasn't just like all of this stuff that we're talking about that was a problem. It just dragged too. It wasn't fun. No. And so I was like, surely we've got to be at the 90-minute mark. And I had a full hour left at this point. I was like, what on earth can they possibly do for the next hour? I was very dispirited at this point.
I know. So they go back to Hartford, and they're gonna have to get Peter to help, because Peter can still see and hear them, and they're like, he's gonna have to like be the ambassador kind of to Robert. So Peter is going around the building. He's made treats for the whole building, and he's leaving them on people's doorsteps. And then he tells us, one of the girls like sees him leaving the packages, and he's like, you better get that in the fridge, it's gonna melt. And I'm like, what is it?
Yeah,
on everybody's door.
It's ice cream. It's just ice cream wrapped in
that's not gonna work.
Peter seems like the kind of idiot that would wrap up ice cream and put it out and be like, well, I just came from the freezer of the food stuff down on 47th Street. They won't miss it.
I had to wrap it before they noticed. So he says he's not going to help because he is going to hang out with his mom, which is a big step for him. And then he says, really, his dream is to be like his grandpa, but have his dad's respect. Whatever, Peter.
I mean, you're not going to get your dad's respect if you're like your grandpa, because your grandpa screwed all of you, not Scrooge.
Right.
Screwed all of you because he was an idiot about money. So.
And screwed the company's employees and the farmers who sell their food to him and the delivery people and
the tax base for the city.
Everybody who counts on them.
Yep.
So he's like, no, I'm not going to do it. So he goes to his mom's house and they show up there and talk to him again. And he's like, okay, bye, Mom. And he just like leaves. And I'm like, well, the poor mom.
Yeah.
She's so happy that her son's finally spending Christmas with her, and he leaves after like 20 minutes.
Yeah, well, honestly, she did replace him, so she didn't deserve
she was a little.
She did replace him
there
with
was
a
a
new family.
scene. There was a scene I didn't mention this detail, but when the baby was born, there's this part like in the Ghost of Christmas Past where she's like, she hands him a camera and she's like, will you take a picture of us with the baby, of like me and my new husband and the baby? And
will you take a picture of us?
So I mean, so yeah,
that one stabbed me right in my heart. I have been in that exact situation. I am the spare kid, and I was like, oh no, I can't believe Hallmark is getting me like this on this awful movie. But it was like a really emotional part. Also, I've been campaigning all week. I mean, we're gonna release this right before Election Day, so I'm like super tired, so I have no emotional defenses. But I was like, you bastards, how dare you? But I'm over it now. But yeah, Hallmark got me with that one. Definitely been in that situation.
So
anyway, I'm just saying, Mom deserves for him to like take off. Okay. He gave her 20 minutes. That's all she gets.
That's all she gets. So they go back to the opening scene lady who was yelling at them at the very beginning about wanting to call the police. And so I should say her name is Susan, and she's famous because she wrote some Christmas song.
Mm-hmm.
So Peter goes with the ghost over there, and he's like, he kind of gets her to remember when she was Scrooged. And he's like, listen, we need to get to my dad, but he's not speaking to me because I left him the world's worst voicemail this morning. So she's like, oh my gosh. Oh, and he's a big fan of hers. So she's like, oh my gosh, I'll go over there. I'll sing. I'll, kind of pave the way for you. She sings this song that was like, I don't even know what that was.
Is that her? Was it her? It was like written by a 30-year-old now who had an idea of what modern music sounds like, but it was all out of place. She shouldn't have been singing it. It was the weirdest song. It was some kind of like modern pop vibe to it. But
here's what it was. it was Deck the Halls of My Heart.
Yeah, which the titles makes it sound like actually a nice Anne Murray type.
It does. It sounds like a Hallmark Christmas movie title, honestly.
It should have been that type of song because that lady was old, like middle age, and instead it came out as this really generic and poorly done modern pop song that the whole storyline with her to me was like, this is not another thing we don't need. Yeah, it was just pointless. It just was added to the runtime.
I agree. So
but she goes over to help soothe the dad or pave the way with her celebrity status.
Yeah. So then after her song, Peter and her dad start talking, and he's like, and the dad says something like, they start fighting. The dad says something like, or no, I think Peter says it. He's like, you only care about fiscal responsibility, not people. And again, first of all, why is this argument like, why are you even talking about the phrase fiscal responsibility in a Hallmark movie?
In a Hallmark movie, thank you.
Stop. This is not for economics lessons. But if you want to make it an economic lesson, as you've said, you actually can't help people without being fiscally responsible. Everyone listening, whatever your favorite nonprofit is, whatever they do, they have to be fiscally responsible to be able to do it. They go out and raise money, and then they spend it wisely to help people.
Guys, Amelia and I have extensive experience with nonprofit work. This is a universal. You will get shut down by the government if you are not fiscally responsible with your nonprofit. You have a tax exempt status. That means you have a higher responsibility for reporting. Right here at this point, Amelia, in my notes, I have in all caps. Okay, am I crazy? How do you feed people without fiscal responsibility?
I don't know. It's a good question.
Again, Peter's the villain here. Peter is the villain. I wrote an article many years ago about, it was an apology to Mr. Arnold, and it was an apology to Kevin Arnold's dad in the Wonder Years.
Yes.
And his dad was this stuffy old middle-aged guy who went to his factory job every day and came home, and he hated his hippie daughter and her hippie friends, and they were always clashing, and he was always so mean. And I remember being a kid and watching that and going like, why is he so mean to them? They just are about love and openness. And like, why does he give them such a hard time? They're such like kind people. And of course, as I got older and then had kids of my own and started working and contributing to the American system, I was like, oh, I get it. Because they were freeloaders. He was working his ass off for 60 hours a week at this factory. Right. To provide this cushy life, a middle-class home, their cars, the dumb clothes they wear. And all they could do was talk about him, how he was the problem in America. So I apologize to Kevin Arnold's dad. I get why he was so grumpy, and I get why Peter's dad was so grumpy. He raised a son who thinks that fiscal responsibility is a bad thing.
A bad thing. All right. So then they take Peter back to his past again. And so when they're in Peter's past, Catherine is like, wait a minute, this is my past. And the ghost of Christmas past is like, you guys have the same past. And then once again, I was like, is it his grandma?
Right.
So it turns out she was his grandmother, Betsy's friend. His grandma was Betsy. She was Betsy's bestie. There we go. I can do it.
Betsy's besties.
So then they are like, twist, guess what? It was you that we were going to Scrooge all along.
Catherine is the subject of the Scrooge.
So Catherine was the assignment the whole time.
She was the assignment the whole time.
Which is why past and present were like acting awkward and they couldn't tell her what was going on.
This leads to some other questions coming up. You'll set them up, but I'm just saying for the listeners, this leads to some very serious space-time continuum questions coming up here shortly.
Right, it does.
Yeah.
So we're about to understand, first of all, why Catherine and Peter like each other so much. So she's picking up Betsy from, what's it called, like the Rudy Tooty or whatever, the bar. The little
diner bar.
The little diner place where, not bar, but the little diner where her
but she did get
hang out.
A drink there, so it was like a combo
and
bar.
She used to hang out with Betsy and walk her home from her shift every night. And so she's in there and she's saying she got a new job. And the bartender's like, oh, good for you. And she's like, I guess, but I really just want to make a difference. Okay, well, okay, fine.
Okay.
So
I was like, oh, sorry about your new job then?
yeah, he's like, sorry, do you have a job? What? So they're walking along and she's like, there shouldn't be people on the street. We should get them off the street. And she like gives them her grilled cheese. And
She
like
sees she sees
all
three people on the street. You didn't set that part up.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah, she saw 3 homeless people across the street just sitting out on Christmas Eve in the cold. I don't know. They weren't even in a doorway or,
No, they were, I think they were on a bench, just sitting there.
Just sitting there.
In like cold. Nice, clean, warm parkas.
Yeah, just cold and hungry, I guess.
She gives them her grilled cheese that she had gotten takeout. And then she's like, we're going to go to the grocery store. She goes to the little grocer and she's like, we need some blankets and blah, blah. And then the guy who works there, who turns out to be Grandpa Bob, is like, oh, hey, I have some groceries that are probably going to go bad in the next couple days. Why don't you take them? The people can eat them now. They can eat. You can have that blanket for free. And I'm like, so here's how it started. And great, give away a blanket for free. That's cool. But running you can't feed the whole community for free.
Yeah. And the box of produce, he says, I have some produce in the back that's going to go bad. And she's like, great, I'll take it. I'm sure they'll take anything. And so he brings out this box and it's just filled with like onions and bell pepper, lettuce. I'm like, yes, I'm sure these people are going to be very grateful for their ice cold onions and bell peppers on the street corner when he gives this to them. Like, all right, Bob.
So Catherine can tell that Betsy and Bob have a little vibe going on.
They got a little spark.
So she's like, hey, I'm going to go take this blanket and this food to those homeless people we saw, wish them a Merry Christmas. She walks out the door and gets hit by a car. And that's how she died.
And that's how she died. We never knew how she died. And I was like, absolutely not. We should not see death in the Hallmark universe.
Yeah.
This is a no-no.
We only heard it. We heard the crash.
We should not be present at death. Even when people have widows in the Hallmark universe, it's something that happened years ago. We should not be present at anyone's death in Hallmark. I just thought that's when I'm being very serious here, actually. That's when I thought that this screenwriter didn't really watch Hallmark. It just was a no. It was a no in a movie that was filled with no-nos.
Yeah.
Anyway, she's dead. She died. She died. And then she's like, oh, that's how, and Peter's like, that's how you died.
So,
and we find out.
Yeah. So then we go to, a different time in the past.
We find out that all the angels die on Christmas. That's how you get to be a Christmas angel.
Yes.
Because you die on Christmas. Yeah.
So she, gets to see another little scene from the past, and it's Betsy and Bob. They're opening their community center, and Betsy has
their doomed community center.
The what?
Their doomed community center.
Their doomed community center with no fire exits and spoiled food. So we see that Betsy has this note, and she can't read the whole thing. She's like emotional, so she puts it in the frame behind the picture of Catherine that we saw in the earlier memory. So she's like, oh my gosh, we have to find this note. And of course, it's upstairs in the Rudy Tooty bar, which is perfectly clean except for all the cobwebs.
Right. Well, they just store the cobwebs there. You got to have a place to keep your cobwebs.
Yeah. Rudy Tooty, juke joint and cobweb storage. So they go get the note. They find the note. They get it. And he's like, oh my gosh, this changes everything. I've got to go to my dad's house. So they go to the dad's house. And the dad has the quintessential Hallmark gazebo, which actually made me really happy.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Yes. Yeah, that was good.
But Catherine starts to talk to Peter about like, your dad has some good in him. You need to find the good in him, blah, blah, which Kira and I have already told you all the good in him.
He is the good one.
But did you notice that it was a really awkward insert shot that they filmed later and then stuck in there? Like the gazebo and everything was some like green screen and it just looked really awkward behind
I didn't notice. I might have been looking at my phone at this point because
fair enough. I guess I could be wrong, but it really looked like they filmed that later. So Peter goes to talk to his dad, and his dad's like, Grandpa gave away all of his time, money, and love to total strangers. And like, it made me sad, which is fair.
Okay, I'm going to get serious again. What's more, my father-in-law is a pastor, and your dad is also involved in ministry as well. He's been a pastor. And so we know that one of the things that pastors will often confront is people who are sort of new converts to the church or to religion, to Christianity. And new converts can be very zealous. And sometimes people will give up their, like, suddenly do this 180.
Yeah.
And they'll just be totally into the church, and they'll be at the church every day, and they'll sign up for all the volunteer events, and it can leave what we call faith widows at home.
Yeah.
Where it happened to my mother-in-law, actually, when my father-in-law converted, and they had to work through it until she converted as well. But it was a thing of, I'm leaving all of these people that these are my main responsibilities, and I'm leaving them behind for this other thing that seems like it's good. It's the greater good. And like, that's not the greater good. Your family, if you can't like save the world, if you can't even, keep your family intact. So once again, identifying with Peter's dad here, I think he's in the right. He's absolutely right. And by the way, Amelia, not one time in this movie did the dad say that giving away food was wrong.
No,
or helping people.
He wanted to do
wrong.
it legally.
He just wanted to do it the right way.
In a way that was sustainable. So they could keep helping.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So they give the dad the letter, which honestly didn't seem to say, so basically in the letter, we find out that Betsy was pregnant with who would be Robert, the dad. And that they hope that he would be a wonderful guy and stuff. And I'm like, well, obviously, I don't know why that letter would have changed anything, but okay. Yeah. So then it's done. The Scrooging is over. So Catherine and Peter have to say goodbye. And then she's like, maybe, you can go see Rachel tonight. Like we saw in the little thing, you were going to go stand at the carousel like a creepy old man. And he's like, no, I'm not going to. He's not going to go see her. He's like, I'm just going to like spend my whole life thinking about my ghost. And I was like, okay.
My ghost, that made grandma.
Me think about, do you remember when like the people marrying ghosts was like I used to blog about that.
No, I don't remember this.
This woman,
it's your.
it was only like 3 blog posts, but it was the same story. This woman, I think she was in England. She tried to legally marry the ghost of a pirate. and then they got a divorce. And so then I wrote about them getting married, and then I wrote about the divorce, and then her daughter sent me this really angry email. Like, I can't believe my mom's been through so much with her relationship and you're writing about it. And I'm like, okay.
No, I never heard of this before. Amazing.
How did you forget this? I'll have to send it to you.
I don't know, that I've forgotten so much over the years, but that's hilarious.
You're a little sleep deprived right now too.
How insensitive of you.
It was very insensitive of me. I apologize to the woman and the ghost. So anyway, so now because she was the assignment all along, she can have a glimpse of her own possible future if she wants. So she sees like being with this guy and having a baby and, all the future-y things. So when they get back to Angel headquarters, she decides that she knows what she didn't know before and is going to go through the door to the unknown, which of course leads back to the dude, and he's in the Rudy Tooty cleaning things up. They kiss, and then they're at the Christmas party where what's her name is singing Deck the Halls of My Heart, and the dad is there and everybody's happy. And I honestly didn't think this was super clear, but maybe I wasn't paying attention anymore. I'm pretty sure that the way that they left it was that they were going to get somebody else to run the business, and Peter was going to run like the philanthropic arm of
that's the impression I got. So really how we ended it is that Catherine went from being a 1950s dead ghost, walked through the door, and became a 2022 love interest for a person, a real person. Like, she became alive again. I just don't understand what does this mean for the family that she left behind. Does she just pretend they don't exist and she never says anything? Does this put a ripple in the space-time continuum?
Especially because she's back in her hometown. Like, there's a pretty decent chance she's gonna run into her own grandkids
or relatives. Well, she didn't get to have kids.
Oh, not grandkids. Yeah,
maybe
right,
relatives. Yeah,
relatives.
Does she have? Yeah, anybody. I just thought it was so weird that it's like, well, now I'm in love with this ghost. Well, okay, now I can be real, especially since the whole time, Amelia, it was really hard to root for them as a couple because I was wondering if she was her grandma for half the movie. So I was like,
Yep.
when they got together, it didn't feel good. It still even felt a little weird because then I'm like, what are the repercussions of being a former ghost, giving birth and knowing what's on the other side of life?
True. And okay, so she's not his grandma, but she's his grandma's best friend, and marrying your grandma's best friend is still weird.
It's still weird.
This movie was
It's still weird. I thought that it was a good compromise, though. It really, I guess there would be no movie if they had done this from the start. And this is one mistake that Peter's dad made, this is what Peter's dad should have done the whole time, which is recognize that his son is a fiscal idiot, but a good person. And so dad can handle the fiscal responsibility, and he should have, and every good, successful corporation has a charity wing, if for no other reason than the tax write-offs. So he should have put his son in charge of that. So that was good. Again, not a single person thanks Peter's dad for all the hard work he has put in to make sure that this company is successful enough to support, as you say, the family and all of the employees and their families too. I think that Peter's dad is the unsung hero of this movie, and Peter is a loser who lived off his dad's generosity and then complained about all of the things that let him live in comfort.
I'm with you. Robert is the hero. I will hear no, I'm taking no other questions at this time.
Yeah, I agree. But I don't know if you disagree. Let us know. Reach out to us on Twitter at A Very Merry Pod, or you can reach out to us by email, which is, what's our email? Is it avmp@gmail or
I think it's A Very Merry Podcast?
We're just getting into the heat of this, folks. Just give us a break. We're also setting up some social media so we can do some bonus content as well. But and I know we've been threatening to do that, but we're really going to do it this time. But yeah, let us know. What do you think? I just thought, like, as an unabashed capitalist, obviously I didn't care for all the capitalistic bashing, but it also just felt really out of place.
Yeah.
And just not really part of the other thing too, is that in a good Hallmark movie, there's always an element of hope to the complaints, or, you know what I mean? Like, no one's truly that bad. No one, and there's not like tragedy unfolding in front of you. And I don't know, I just missed the mark on so much. We didn't get any of the tropes that we like. No. There was no room for that. It was such a weird relationship between the love interests, given the Back to the Future-ish storyline there. There was a carousel. Great, we love a good carousel, and it had some magical elements to it, which is fun. But besides their harsh judgment of the people who pay for all of the charity in this country, I just thought it was dull, and it dragged.
It wasn't good. It was
a bitter disappointment to start out with. And usually even the bad Hallmark movies I enjoy, but this one just didn't have a lot.
I know. It's a bummer, but we have some really good ones coming up.
Yes. Well, it made me look forward to the schedule, because you worked out our schedule for us this week. So we know what movies are coming up, and we should once we get the site up, we're going to open a locals page. I think that's easier for us. So once we get the site up, we'll have to post the schedule, Amelia, so our listeners can plan along with us. But it did, after we were texting each other during this movie. Amelia was like, I don't know about this movie, Kira. And I'm like, yeah, I'm halfway through. And I just looked, this is an hour left, girl. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do. But I was like, but you know what? This is really making me look forward to some of the other things that are coming up.
Yes.
So what do we have coming up?
Yeah. Okay. So coming up. Okay. So next we have Lights, Camera, Christmas, which I'm really excited about. We love that. And I love this trope of big Hollywood people in a small town. I love it. We're going to have The Royal Nanny as the one after that. And one of our good friends is coming on, who is a royal commentator in America and England. Exciting. So she's going to be great.
We'll press her for like authentication. She can authenticate
us
some of these.
Exactly how accurate, because I'm sure it'll be spot on.
Yeah, well, just like the episode of when they were on the Navy ship.
Exactly. Total accuracy. 3 Wise Men and a Baby
Yeah, we're looking forward to
I'm
that.
really excited for that one. And then the one that I am most looking forward to is Royal Corgi Christmas. And that takes us through November, and then we still need to take a look at December, but that gets us for the next few weeks. We are ready to go.
I'm really excited about Lights Camera Christmas. That's one of my favorite tropes too, and it's just really ripe for all of the Hallmark tropes that we love. And John Brotherton is the male lead in that movie, and I really like him. I don't know how much I've seen of him in Hallmark, but I kind of see him around like CW shows, and like you just kind of see him around. He's that guy. But he's got an energy that I think is so fun. And then I did see a preview for a couple of movies coming up that I am looking forward to. But Luke McFarlane is back in the mix this season, and I just love him. He took a foray into feature filmmaking over the past year with the Judd Apatow flick Bros, which had some controversy. Unsurprisingly didn't do that well, but Luke McFarlane is a gem. Yes. He is a true gem. And every time I see him, I'm just like, this guy is the quintessential Hallmark man. Yeah. So I can't wait to see him. He gets it. He gets it. He knows what movies he's in. Him. Yes, we can trust him. Thank you. And that is the thing I think that'll end my observations of this movie. Is I didn't trust the people making it. I think everybody who was in the movie was doing their best with the material. The performances were good, just fine, like nothing wrong with them. Everybody did their job. But the script just felt like it was written by someone who doesn't really like Hallmark.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was really disappointed to start out on this one. Before we go, I would like to ask you though, Amelia, can you think of a better name for the grocery company than Food Stuff? Now, I'm always fascinated by Hallmark's use of, I love the Hallmark job universe. I love all the jobs, different jobs in there. We didn't see any new kind of jobs in here, unless you count the Christmas Angels.
Right.
But yeah, typical just corporate stuff. And then, I like how they name businesses, and Food Stuff I thought was just like, well, this is very uncreative, and I guess that's probably on purpose. They kind of
phoned it in.
I think it was on purpose, maybe like it's just supposed to be generic corporate evil, but I don't know. I would at least wanted something that could have been transformed in a way at the end, where like, oh, this would be like my name was Eat Well.
Oh, cute.
Yeah, Eat Well. And then at the end, they could be like, Eat Well's brand actually is we eat well, together. Yeah. So wellness is a part of this. And how about, after all, they did have that big box of ice cold produce that they were going to give away earlier on. So healthy. But yeah, this wasn't a winner. Didn't care for this one. No.
And it breaks our hearts. We like to only like them.
Yeah, we only want to like these movies. For us to be this critical, it just wasn't even that fun. Even the bad movies, there's always fun stuff to watch, make fun of, pick apart. That's what we do, all in love. But this just missed the mark on every level. So I'm really hoping our next film, Amelia, is going to go better. But I have high hopes for it.
It's going to be so good.
Yeah. Let's not jinx ourselves, but okay. Even the previews seem like if I just would judge by the trailer, I'd be like, I think this has all the stuff I want in it. Mm-hmm. Are you listening, Hallmark? Yeah, this was a no-go for us. Well, all right, Amelia, I really appreciate you taking the time from your sprained ankle to power through this podcast. You can go lay down again now.
Oh, I'm going to have to.
Yeah.
Until we record again.
Yeah, in a week. Until such time, Amelia, I wish you days filled with fiscal responsibility.
Thank you. And I wish you all the joy that you felt when this movie was over.
Thank you, Amelia. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.